Well, hello everyone. So, hope you all had a good night's rest after last night's Spring Equinox Healing Circle. And I have to say, a lot of abundance blocks have been released because the majority of the tarot cards that have come out speak to more abundance coming in, more opportunities coming in, and really Spirit saying they want you to dream bigger so that you could really accelerate your soul's journey here on earth. So this integration reading all talks about the energy that's coming in, your spirit animal guides wanting to give some supportive messages on how to support yourself during that flow of energy. And the other cards speak more about the life lessons that are coming up. So you are ready for those next set of life lessons because of the massive deep work that was done last night. So let's get right into the energy flow that is coming. So I have emailed you the cards that have come out. So have that displayed or printed out and follow along the guidance here. So we're going to start talking about the cards at the top with the moon on them. So believe in the impossible, hold your vision, and a new start is coming. How wonderful. So believe in the impossible. This talks about Spirit wanting you to really level up, dream a little bigger. So at some point after this integration within you has settled, because I could feel some of the downloads still trying to settle in within you. So give yourself a couple days for that integration to complete itself, and then go back, reflect back on what you manifested in that pyramid, in the circle, and ask yourself, how can I level this up? And when you think to yourself or ask yourself, how can I level it up? And you feel a fear or doubt coming up, then that's another block that your soul is wanting to release. So be very, very aware of any fear or negative self-talk that may come up to the surface when you want to go back to your manifestations and upgrade them. Believe in the impossible also is saying that whatever you put out or manifested last night is in motion right now. It's starting to build momentum. So do keep your eye out for any signs, synchronicities, or omens that appear in your awakened state, or it could come in your dream state. So be very, very aware of those signs. Those are breadcrumbs telling you to follow them, or those are also breadcrumbs letting you know that things are coming, things are building up. So have patience. I know patience was one of the virtues that was downloaded into you last night. So know that you already have a lot of patience. It's just following those signs. And also, one of your spirit guides is saying, keep a log of those signs and symbols or synchronicities from Spirit, because they're going to tell a story of what's going to come next. So something to think about. So as you're doing that, following those signs and really keeping a log or a mental memory of those signs from Spirit, it's going to help you hold your vision. Those are like little cheerleaders from Spirit. That's what I call those signs. Little cheerleaders coming in saying, hey, it's coming, keep it up, so hold your vision. And I started to sweat like crazy when I channeled that message, which is a huge yes from the universe. And because so much of those negative blocks around abundance was released last night, there are multiple new starts coming. So be open to what those may be. I'm hearing from the Creator that they are both very subtle, kind of a new start, or they could be very obvious and big. So welcome those new starts, little and big ones. I'm hearing someone's spirit guide say a new start could be something small, like choosing a healthier cereal in the morning. So think about those little small new cycles starting. Maybe there's a new routine, a new ritual that's starting for you. And I'm hearing that's going to help cleanse your physical body, but also at the emotional, mental, and spiritual levels, which means you might start recognizing or acknowledging signs more frequently. So when we are clear on all those levels, then that's when we could really communicate with spirit at lightning speed. So I'm just going to tune into those moon cards once again to see what else they want to say. But that's all they want to say. They've gone quiet. So going on now into your animal friends. So the first two cards that have come out, Deer Spirit and Brown Bear Spirit, they're both talking about bringing a gentle touch and really taking a time out for yourself. And this really feels like a common message that comes out after a circle, but I'm hearing a lot of your spirit guides say that you guys are not taking enough time out to just rest and do nothing, because that's the moment when all the integration could really happen. So if you can, try to clear some things in your schedule if you can, or schedule some time to yourself, even if it's just 10 minutes, to just sit quietly with your favorite cup of tea. And in that moment of stillness, you never know, you might get that next action step or guidance from spirit that you've been really craving for. So it's so important to be still and rest for those two reasons: integration and being able to receive messages and guidance from spirit. So because Deer Spirit and Brown Bear Spirit came out first, they're really emphasizing this. So however shape or form that you could create that quiet time for yourself, please do that. We do have a lot of cards here, and I'm just tuning into them to see what order they want to speak in now. Okay, so I'll tell you what just happened. So I had the spirit animal cards out in the order that they had come out, but all of a sudden they said they want to switch around the order. So I was just rearranging them. So in the picture that I'm going to send you with these cards, they are in the order that I am channeling them. So the next card that wanted to talk, or the next spirit, is the snake. And the snake spirit is saying it's time to heal. So make sure you integrate. So you guys are going to be so sick of this word integrate. But the snake spirit saying you want to heal, do your healing work, integrate, but make sure you integrate the same length of time you spend on healing also. And sometimes integration could take longer. And I started to sweat like crazy again. So there's some of you who actually may need to integrate through physical exercise. The exercise would give your body this opportunity to release the toxins that's in your body. So some of you may need to be active. Some of you just might need a cat nap. And a spirit guide just joked and said, we could try to help you do both by helping you dream about working out. If you want to try that test, go for it. And for those of you who are trained in theta healing, there's actually a way to program yourself to do that. So, snake spirit is also talking about other things that are going to come up, that are going to need to be healed. So that's what the other cards are going to talk about. So for now, I'm just going to put that message there on hold, and I'm going to get my spirit guide Tingu to remind me to get back to that message. But going on now to the next three cards, which are, I believe, the most powerful ones from my spirit animal deck that talks about abundance. So the fact that 3 cards had come out referring to abundance or manifestations or your dreams coming true, it's a really, really good sign that you all did really deep work. Oh, and I also heard that some of you manifested really, really well, and it came from a place of pure intention. And that's so important when doing manifestation work. So give yourself a pat on the back. So the first spirit that wants to talk is the spider spirit. The spider spirit just literally jumped to the sentence here. So the spider spirit says, make your dreams real. So get on that plan. And this is where the Creator is wanting you to just have a general plan. You don't have to have all the details. This is where procrastination steps in, because we feel like we need the details, but the spider is saying, look at my web. It's just an outline of a web, and there are spaces in between. That's what creates this web. That's what defines my web. The air can fill up my space, other things. A leaf could fill up my space where there's no web there. So the spider is saying, yeah, just create this sort of skeletal structure of your plan and trust that the universe will fill in the blank spots. And for those of you who really want to go a little deeper and add more details to your manifestations, you might want to work with the spider spirit animal. They're very, very powerful. And in particular, those of you who work with ayahuasca, I heard, or have worked with ayahuasca, that plant medicine is quite powerful when she teams up with spider. So they just wanted to leave you with that, up to you to explore and add more details to your manifestations if you feel called to do so. The next is the rabbit spirit, and saying now is a lucky time. And as I'm holding on to the rabbit spirit card, its energy is buzzing and cording into the deer spirit and the brown bear spirit cards. And the rabbit spirit saying, now is a lucky time, which means it's not all about doing. It could be doing, planning, and being active, but it's also a lucky time to also just rest, receive. Because like brown bear and deer spirit were saying, when you're resting, that's when the integration and the guidance from spirit really happens. And that could be an extremely lucky time for you, where you just receive what you really needed. So the fact that message came up twice again means that there is some importance there for you to be still. So please try to add that practice in your day-to-day life if you can. The rabbit spirit is also making me feel that whatever you manifested in the spirit world last night, the energy and the magnitude of it could potentially double, depending on how much inner healing work you do now until that manifestation actually appears in your life. So go down, no pun intended, because it's rabbit spirit. So go down that rabbit hole. So explore that more. We did a little bit of that work where we manifested something and then took a step back and asked ourselves, is that manifestation trying to solve something when it really needs to be healed? Or are we trying to manifest that to avoid healing? How are we bypassing some sort of karmic life lessons by trying to manifest something, by falsely thinking that that thing, that manifestation would magically problem solve everything in our life? So think about those things still. The Creator is saying it's so important to do that reality check-in with yourself when you're manifesting, because then you could tweak your manifestations so that it is more from a pure intent, but also from a place of, okay, I've learned my lesson, let me just change that manifestation so that it's more in alignment with who I want to become. And that's where sometimes when we approach manifestations in that way, that manifestation could become so much bigger and better than expected. And I'm just pausing here because Rabbit Spirit is still laughing at its own joke about going down the rabbit hole. So I'm just going to let Rabbit Spirit just go away. All right. So the next one is a wonderful one. And I'm not sure if you heard, but the walls just cracked. So if you hear any cracks or pops in any of the guidance on my YouTube channel or in your private readings, it's Spirit's way of saying, yes, this is really important, and we're just creating these popping noises so that you know it's a double yes from the universe, assuring you that whatever you manifested is coming. So that's what the Buffalo Spirit here, the final card, is talking about. The abundant universe will provide, so trust. And that's all that they want to say. And I just heard the walls pop and crack a little bit more. So I felt like those quieter cracks and pops that just happened, or really your spirit guide's way of laughing and saying you're trying too hard or hanging on too hard to the outcome, because if you are, you're not trusting that it will come to you. So just flow with the energies that were mentioned earlier about believing in the impossible, holding your vision, and knowing that a new start is coming. So the cards have gone quiet, so I'm being guided to go on next to the virtues and the lessons that are coming your way. These are also really, really good. So the snake spirit here, and remember earlier I said the snake spirit had something else to add to the other cards, so this is it. So snake spirit is tuning in to the power and healing chaos cards. Do not be alarmed, snake spirit is saying, by the word healing chaos. Basically, snake spirit saying there's just another layer that's coming up in some of you, and it could feel like a pretty big emotional energy. So don't try to push it down. Hold space for it and acknowledge it and go, what is this emotion or memory trying to tell me? Is it linked to a childhood experience or trauma that needs to be healed at some level? And I'm hearing the Creator wanting to give everyone a gentle reminder here that healing happens in layers, because some of us are so eager to just like get everything one and done and off your to-do list, but some of these abundance blocks are in the layers and it needs to be chipped off in layers. So I'm glad that the Creator offered the download of patience so you could apply or bring in the virtue of that patience into your healing process. So healing chaos really speaks about holding space and acknowledging what's coming up for you next. And when you do feel something come up, dig as deep as you feel comfortable doing. And some of you already know how I do it in the circles or in private sessions, or you may be already trained in doing that. So when something comes up, emotions or memories, ask yourself when it started, the feelings associated to it, and what are the belief systems, the negative ones in particular, that are coming up. And those are the next set of negative beliefs that needs to be released. So we're just going to talk about the power card, because the more you do your inner healing, you're going to step into your power more, because you're going to start to understand how you're responding day to day to the programmings in your subconscious. And the power actually also comes from you being conscious and aware every time it comes up. Some of us are running on subconscious, I'm hearing the Creator say, all these subconscious beliefs on autopilot. So we're reacting to things rather than responding. So try to catch yourself where you feel an emotion and you just react to it. You just try to put out that fire. Instead, respond to it by trying to feel it and go, okay, I'm feeling this way. Let me make a note of that to explore this later, because maybe now's not the time. And then when you do have that time to reflect on what you felt earlier in the day, ask yourself all those questions. When did this feeling start, and why is it still in my system? Why is it acting like, let's say, a survival mechanism for me? And is it serving me anymore? How has it served me in the past, and how do I want to change it so it works for me? The creator here is giving quite a bit of advanced guidance because I've worked with 99% of you. So they know they could push you a little further. So they spoke about power, healing chaos. And next, they want to talk about taking risks. And they're saying this card, taking risks, it's really associated to, or it's linked to the cards that spoke about the abundance. So what's Spider Spirit, Rabbit, and Buffalo Spirit we're talking about, there's so much coming your way because of all those abundance blocks that were released. So now that there's a lot coming your way, there's this opportunity for you to be brave, take risks. Remember that the virtue of courage was also downloaded early on when we were doing that grounding meditation at the beginning of the circle. So when an opportunity comes to you and your immediate response to it is a fear, ask yourself, are you doing it? Is it for survival or protection? If it's for protection and you really feel like you don't want to go to that party because you're an introvert and you're already tired, then you are allowed to say no. And make sure you use your own discernment and intuition and knowing how to answer yes or no to things, opportunities that come your way. But sometimes there are opportunities, invitations from the spirit world that want you to really step out of your comfort zone, and they might want you to take on a bit of an adventure, either a spiritual adventure, so perhaps you might be in meditation and all of a sudden you might be surprised where spirit takes you. So be open to taking that risk and really trusting your spirit guide to show you the inner journey in your meditation that they want to take you on. If it's more of the outer journey, which is, it could be perhaps traveling. I do see some of you hopping on a plane. So it could be you traveling somewhere also and taking that risk. Finally saying, you know what, I just need 2 weeks off and I'm just going to go here. So I heard a spirit guide say, just book that flight. So if you've been wanting to go somewhere, this might be a wonderful opportunity. And by the way, I know there is a Mercury retrograde coming up, so you want to avoid traveling during those times, and also lunar eclipses. So keep that in mind. So I'm just tuning into what else taking risks want to say. No, but it's just wanting to just summarize its message, which is when something shows up, you make the decision. You have the power to make that decision where you want to take that risk, take that adventure. And you'll notice in the cards the word adventure, or the card adventure, is right below taking risks. So those two cards are saying that they've channeled the messages that they needed to channel. So we'll get into the other two cards here, and the final two cards. And these speak about blessings coming your way. And the card Simplicity is wanting to almost be on top of the blessings card. So that tells me that there are blessings that are coming in very small, simple ways. So again, be very aware and open to what those blessings may be. And how wonderful that the card blessings have come out. It also validates the amount of inner work that you've done in the circle and how powerfully you manifested in the pyramid last night. So, I just noticed that the blessings card has, I believe it looks like cherry blossoms, and it is cherry blossom season here where I live. So it may be you going outside and enjoying the flowers that are coming out right now. And within that moment you're outside, admiring the simplicity and beauty in nature, you might receive an insight, and that in itself is a blessing. And that insight could, again, be guidance for the next action step you need to take. So I'm just tuning into these cards. I've been sweating like crazy from start to finish. So that is how much energy that was built up in the circle. I feel like I just did a really great workout. So thank you. I do not need to go on my trail run today. So let me just tune back into the spirit animal cards. Just making sure they have nothing else to say. And the moon cards are also quiet. In a separate picture I'll send you the self-care cards that have come out. So in the self-care cards, and I won't read them out because I'm hearing your spirit guides say they actually want each and every one of you to tune into the words or the image and then choose the cards that call to you and actually do that self-care. And these self-care cards are all related to what Deer Spirit and Brown Bear Spirit spoke about integration and really resting, so those insights could come in. So these self-care cards are really more of those practical things you could do to support yourself for the next few days. So that is all that your spirit guides wanted to tell you, and enjoy spring.